The archangels need to become like your best friends. You need to work out who they are for you, because connection actually doesn't begin with knowledge in itself. It begins with willingness. You are not your problems. Do you want your life to happen around you in a blink of an eye, passing you by without any participation? Or do you want to build a life that matters? You defeated it already. It's like you fought a dragon. You slayed it. Leave it dead. Is this mine to carry? Do I own this burden? Welcome back to the Spiritual Awakening Podcast with Shaz. Today's episode is going to be about something very near and dear to my heart. Over the past few months, I've been working on writing not one, but 2 books. And I'm officially in the launch phase of releasing these beautiful works to the world and bringing together some amazing packages for you all. The first book is My Soul Activated, From Despair to a Life by Design. This one is literally, over the last 20 years or so, my life story. Overcoming all the traumas that I had. I don't go deeply into the childhood trauma because this would be an encyclopedia, but I share what started with the loss of my nan before the miscarriage of my children and a lot of other health-related issues coming into my spirituality, learning who I was and discovering what my purpose and passion is in this world. And the other book is Journeys with the Archangels, a practical guide to asking the archangels for answers and assistance. Now, this one is my life all come together simply because of the archangels. I have worked with them diligently over the last 15 or so years and learnt about each and every one in their own way. I had experiences with them when I was very, very young without fully realizing who they were. But the more I delved into it, the more I asked them to collaborate and join me, the greater this beautiful connection and understanding come of who they are. Now, before anyone asks why on earth did I decide to launch 2 books at once? It's not really a sensible idea, is it? But the way my archangels and my guides work together, and Archangel Michael is one of my main guides, and I have worked with him. He's saved my life countless times, and I've worked with him very closely on these 2 books. He helped design them, and quite frankly, the 2 stories interlink. You can't really know about who I am without understanding that I work with these beautiful, blessed beings. And that is why the 2 books are deeply connected and belong together. Not only do you need to understand the story that I lived, you have to understand how they interacted with me, saved me, and changed the way I fully perceive this world. And I want you to help understand that for yourself, as well as have this guide that when you're in trouble and you don't know where to go or you don't know what to do, you have a support network just sitting and waiting for you. All you have to do is ask. So I'm wanting to give you the details about these, understand it. It's not just a sales pitch, but to help you comprehend why it all really come together. Now, I had to overcome so much loss, childhood trauma, and problems in my life, and it's only as I sat in grief, trauma, loss, and realized what the childhood stuff was doing to me mentally, physically, and emotionally, that I hit despair so many times I can't count. And rock bottom is hard, and that's the dark night of the soul aspect, right? Where you question everything, contemplate the world around you, try to recognize and understand who you are, why you're here, what's going on when deep loss or tragedy hits you. And that's what happened throughout the journey when my nan crossed. And an incident at the funeral that I don't really go into, but triggered me deeply, set me on a pathway of questioning everything, but it also gave me a physical symptom in my body. So I developed a hiccup spasm. You know, when you get the hiccups and you hiccup and the body has the spasm attached to it? I developed this spasm that sat in my body 24 hours a day, non-stop, for 10 months. My nan died in February, and the spasm disappeared around December. The worst part, and it hurts to even think of it, is the spasm started to release, which was part of the trauma, because I fell pregnant in the October and I unfortunately miscarried in the December. The good part is even after the miscarriage, the spasms never came back. But it was those spasms that sent me on a curious trail to figure out what the fuck was wrong with me, and really took into account of how does stuff happen? What is going on inside of me? My body is creating symptomatic disease that I don't know what it is. And I went and seen psychologists, psychiatrists, a dozen doctors. I can't remember them all. But I finally made it to a study group with this psychiatrist at Westmead Hospital. And he was studying, at the time I didn't know, the effects of PTSD on the body. And he took videos of my spasms, and we sat in a room with all these men asking questions and talking about what was going on. And I'd tell him about my traumas of my childhood and what was happening and why I was so angry. And the biggest problem I had inside was this deep residing anger at the world, at myself, and especially towards my mother. But underneath all that, there was complex PTSD. And in this study, he happened to mention that I was worse than the other participants in the group, and they'd been to war. And my mind could not comprehend that, because in my world, I didn't even consider I had trauma. It didn't matter all the bad things that I went through. It didn't matter all the devastation that I suffered, the despair, the losses, any of that, because I could always think of something worse. And that was a defense mechanism that I created. And it was a life-saving thought that always come back to me. There is always something worse. My go-to usually was, there are starving children in Africa. And I don't say that lightheartedly. That was a true belief that that was one of the worst things that could ever happen. And we had videos about it, or TV ads about it, and the 40-hour famine being advertised about it. And all of these things reminding me that it didn't matter what I was going through, what I had been through, there was always someone going through something worse. Now, I don't like to trade trauma for trauma with people, but I have had a lot of people turn around and say to me, oh, you wouldn't know trauma if it bit you on the ass. You've had an easy life. There's nothing really bad happened to you. And yet when I lay out all the things that I've survived, and let me tell you, I've survived them all, because I'm still here. Most people start crying long before I do, because I still don't think a lot of it is that bad, because unfortunately I do know a lot of people that have been through so much worse. And if you want to find out about it, all you have to do is watch the news. It is filled with it every single day. But this book is not actually about my suffering or the depth of my traumas. I highlight them, I talk about them, but I don't make that the story, because quite frankly, that would bore anyone, because it does me, let alone you. This is what happens when those experiences turned up, and then how the transformation of my life occurred. How I discovered who I am, what I actually want in this world. What things am I willing to tolerate, accept, or receive, or in return, where do the boundaries lie? What do I reject? How do I choose what comes my way? It's the discovery of healing. Are these traumas, these problems, mine, or are they absorbed from other people? And let me tell you, I absorbed a lot of my traumas from my mother and my family members around me, friends, other people. As an empath, I just took it on. And I had to ask myself at some stage, is this mine to carry? Do I own this burden? And let me tell you, that is the freest question you can ever ask. When you feel overwhelmed, bogged down, or burdened by problems in life, first ask, is this mine? Because you can't actually clear something that's not yours, but you can surrender it, release it, and let it go. And when you stop allowing your past to haunt your future and determine the way you live the rest of your life, your whole world changes. One of my big sayings, and you've probably heard me say it before, is you are not your problems. I don't care what you've been through, trauma, despair, loss, grief, tragedy. You defeated it already. It's like you fought a dragon. You slayed it. Leave it dead. Let the carcass go. You overcome the hurdle already. I want you to look at it as the hero, the victor, the winner, the person at the top of the mountain, not at the bottom of the well, because that's what you've done. And that shift in mindset of realizing I overcome it all. Why does it have to have power over me? Throughout all of that, there's a lesson learned. There's a gain, even in the deepest loss. And yes, the loss of my nan cracked out a grief deep inside of me I didn't even realize. But the first thing that it really did was start me looking at life and asking, what do I want to do differently? Is this the life I really want to live? Is this the choice that I have to stay here? Or am I willing to choose something even better? As you know, when most people go through death of a loved one, the first thing you start thinking about is, if I died tomorrow, one, how are people going to remember me? Am I going to die happy? Have I completed everything that I want to do? What will I be remembered for? Have I made an impact on this earth? What matters most about me? What are they going to say at my funeral? All of those things. What is important about living life? Because death is the great awakener of life going on, even when it's someone so near and dear to you. And trust me, losing my children was even worse than losing my nan. But I still knew I had a life to live. There's a purpose for everything. And no, I didn't get it right the first time. As you're going to see throughout this book, there's 20 years of hurdles, ups and downs, and lots of loss, lots of restarts. But throughout it, the discovery and the inner power, that connection to God and Source and everything around us, and the beautiful blessing of these archangels that came to support the journey. When I learned to find my voice and ask for assistance, they turned up every single time, and they'll do that for you. This is where you get to choose. Do you want your life to happen around you in a blink of an eye, passing you by without any participation? Or do you want to build a life that matters, that means something to someone? That is what the heart of my soul activated is for me. What is the life that I wanted to build? And deep inside, I just wanted to help people. I wanted other people not to suffer the same way I did, to understand the beauty of who they are, to love themselves, to realize that they have great impact and even greater importance of being here on earth right now. You may not realize the effect that you're having on other people's lives or the people around you, but trust me, you are more important than many people will ever tell you. And this is why I keep telling people, share your feelings with others. Tell them how you feel. Say, I love you, and mean it. Firstly to yourself and then to everybody else. Part of the reason why this launch is happening right now is my nan's birthday was just the other day on the 12th of August. And she would have been 97 this year. But it was that relationship with her that literally turned my world around on the perspective of the way I saw myself. Because a lot of my childhood trauma was related to being unwanted, feeling abandoned, unloved, unworthy, all of that negative vibration from having a parent that told you constantly how you were a mistake, a burden, or a problem in her life. And I lived with this knowing that, yeah, I wasn't wanted. Even my brother didn't want me. And there's a story in the book where it shows fully well why he didn't want me. But in that, and understanding the whole story, and you only really get great perspective out the other end. You don't see it while you're in the jar or while you're going through it. You only see it from the other side. Building a relationship with my nan as an adult, learning all about her life, because my mother kept us apart. But in keeping us apart, she also told us how Nan didn't want us. She never sent presents. She never sent cards. She didn't try to get in contact with us. And all the lies that were led and held behind it. And this is my story to parents out there. If you are ever keeping your children from other family members, one day they're going to learn the truth. Because if their curiosity gets the better of them, they're going to reach out to the people that you distance them from to find out their version too. My Nan owned her mistakes. She never promised to be perfect, but she did tell me the truth. And so many things made so much sense about my life from those moments. Because my mother used to tell me all the time how she was going to give me up for adoption, how she wasn't going to keep me. The part she left out was how my Nan said, if you're going to give her up for adoption, I'll take her. And then she kept me out of spite to punish both of us. Now, that version of the life that I lived hurt my grandmother. It hurt her deeply to think that she was responsible for my suffering. The ironic part and the deep part about it is I still would rather the life that I have and gone through everything that I did in order to know my Nan, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, and all of my beautiful family members, because they're so important to me that they're worth that sacrifice. And as a soul, as the connection to the greater aspect of my whole soul, I understand the reason behind it all. And it is through that relationship of knowing my Nan, it literally changed the way I saw myself and helped me define exactly who I am in this world. While she was alive, we healed our relationship. She set me on the path of forgiveness, of understanding the hurt between two people and the soul aspect of it. And even in that aspect of life, my Nan didn't know the full story because I never told her all of the truth of the hard parts that I went through. We've done even further and deeper healing as she moved to spirit from the other side, because I didn't want her to carry the guilt of what she wasn't able to save me from, because that's not her job either. My soul chose to go through these lessons, to experience these traumas, to live through them, to survive through them, to grow through them and ascend. And I'm happily able to do that. But this is why my book's called My Soul Activated. Communicating and reconnecting to your soul isn't a lightning bolt spiritual awakening moment. It's not an instantaneous remembrance. It's a series of moments where you have to come back to yourself time and time again. Sometimes gently, and other times with a smack in the face with a shovel. Because sometimes subtlety doesn't work. Let me tell you, coming up against that wall, spirit will make you fully aware, and your soul does that for you. A lot of people are going to look at this heading of this book and think this story is about becoming spiritual, but I want to make something really clear. I never become spiritual because trauma happened to me. I was born connected. Some of my earliest memories are about talking to relatives and having invisible friends with people that others couldn't see, that weren't there, but they were live and living to me. Up until I was about 16 years old, I can tell the difference between a dead person and a live person. They looked exactly the same. And I had to change that and alter the way I saw people. And I never fully understood how I knew things or heard things or sensed things underneath conversations and had more perspective than others. It's only as I developed my spirituality and the gifts behind it and truly understood the way it all worked together that everything became clear. And I was able to release the labels that were put on me. I was called a liar, a know-it-all, knowing too much. I eavesdropped apparently. I had to put my nose in everybody's business. I never did. It's just if you ever ask me a question, and especially in my younger years, I had no filter. Nowadays, pretty much, you still ask me a question and the truth comes out. Some people like it, many people don't. But I don't make things up. I just tell the truth of what I know it to be. And sometimes that truth is very hard to hear. It was also when I was 16 years old that my mother used to read tarot cards for her friends, usually from a book and telling you what the cards meant. And then she would manipulate them and use them to tell people her own opinions. And as someone who's very congruent, authentic and real, the truth really matters to me, and it's a big trigger bugbear and annoyance in my life at times, but I can't watch manipulation. I can't watch someone use words or actions to get someone to believe something that's not true. I can't sit back and witness that. And it was from that energy, that hypocrisy sort of aspect of seeing something not right and wanting to fix it, that the tarot cards would sort of dance around the table and tell me a story. And that's when my intuition really started talking to me. Because every time I told the story of what I seen and how the cards danced together in my visualization, everything I said happened, came true, or was already in actual fact. I didn't know how I knew. No one knew how I knew. But let me tell you, predictions that came out and truths that showed up blew my own mind. I remember one instance quite clearly in my early 20s, and I was doing a reading for a friend, and the Tower card come out and something else. And I said, oh my God, we need to watch out. There's going to be either an accident or a theft surrounding the car. And no word of a lie, we went to bingo that night and someone broke into our car. When I described the accident in itself, I turned around and I said, it's okay, the car's going to be fine and there's nothing they're really going to get, and the damage will be lesser because it'll be interrupted. And that's exactly what happened, because the security guard saw them and came and told us all about it halfway through the evening. And little did I know how clearly accurate some of the visualizations that I got could really be. And that's when my trust grew in it exponentially. And I started to question, where does that wisdom come from? Who is really talking to me? And that's what set me on the pathway of finding teachers, groups, and understanding of not only just knowing, but how to make it work when I want it, rather than just allowing it to occur when it happened. And that's when I learned about the Archangels. Because nowadays, if I was to see a protection like that, I would automatically ask them to come and protect my car so that nothing could happen to it, which we sort of did without realizing what we were doing. The thing with that is you can ask for assistance with the Archangels, just saying, I need help with XYZ or whatever the problem is. I want help with a parking spot or protection of this, or getting me there safely, finding the shortest route in a certain way, writing my book, showing up, painting this picture. However you need them, they'll be there. And that's why this book has been brought together. This is not a memoir. This is not just storytelling. It's an actual practical guide. It tells you from my lived experience how to call on them, how they show up, what they look like, the colors that they are to me. And they can be different to you. I'm not God. I don't have all perfection. These are just the examples that I've seen. And color is a construct that is ultimate. Also, the archangels in themselves don't really have a frequency. We call it masculine and feminine, and they're not genderized so much. But some are more feminine in energy and others are all masculine in energy, and that's how I refer to them in this book, because that's the way I see them. And if you don't see them that way, I'm not offended, and I'm not going to have arguments with you. You see them how you see them. But in it, this particular book has decades of experience of working with them, of understanding the top 15. There are many, many more, but I didn't want to write once again an encyclopedia. This shares experiences about my own interactions, of the visitations that I've had, of calling them to work with me for days, weeks and months, of using them in my life, of understanding who they are in their own personalities and in their roles on that heavenly realm of how they provide assistance to us. And I wanted to go beyond the simple facts of Archangel Michael is blue, which is a pretty common knowledge. Raphael is green. Here's a simple crystal for it. Good luck with that. Because that still leaves the question of, okay, what do I do now? What if I'm grieving and I don't know what to do? Who can I call on if I need courage? Who can help me when my relationship is falling apart? Or what if I have this great inspiration and idea? Who can help me birth it and bring it to life? There's even aspects where you can call on them for your own intuition and your psychic development, or finding your voice, speaking the truth, fighting for the underdog. Because if you're asking yourself, who can help me? Or what do I need now? Or bloody hell, what's going on? Why can't I get assistance? And how do I get it? These are written in a format to show you who the best help for each individual scenario is. You don't actually have to know who you're calling on in order to get the archangels to assist you. You just ask them for help with any given situation. And you certainly don't have to be psychic or a medium or anyone. Have a perfect meditation practice, own a crystal shop, or be overly special to get assistance. They are there for everyone. There is no limit to how much they can access and help you, but you must ask first. They never cross our free will barrier, and they don't intervene without invitation. So part of this book is invocations, prayers, and activations that help you create that connection, because connection actually doesn't begin with knowledge in itself. It begins with willingness. And that's what I want to give you from this book, a guide, a practical resource that lets you ask for assistance on any area. In the very back of the book is like a glossary that says, I have this problem, which archangels are best for that. So it's an easy to use booklet, and it is something created that I want people to highlight, have on your bedside table. Use it as an example of, oh my God, I'm struggling today. What do I need? And you open it, and that page, or whoever you open the page to, will give you the answers. That's how I want you to associate their energy, to work out how they can support you, how you perceive them. They show up with signs and synchronicities of different ways of working with them. There are crystals, invocations, and shadow journaling aspects within it. Why, you ask? Because when you go and answer these questions, you start to realize so much more of how they can assist you and what areas of your life you're blocking without you being aware. Because the biggest factor about this book is to bring that awareness, that freedom, that breath, that exhale of allowing you to find peace, create connection, and build a relationship with them. That's the important part here too. The archangels need to become like your best friends. You need to work out who they are for you, because how I'm going to use a certain archangel and that aspect and how you're going to use them can be vastly different depending on what you need in your life. And this is where you never need anyone to tell you this is the only way. No two friends have the same relationship. No two family members have the same relationship. You build that relationship based on your interaction with them. And they work with all the different clairs. They show you how to communicate. They boost your connection. But they can only do that if you open the book, not just to read it, but to use it beyond an everyday aspect. One of my favorite lines in the book is, archangels adjust the trajectory and you walk it. This is an aspect of you changing your path. They just highlight the pathway. They change or micromanage the direction, but they can't walk it for you. They can't make you take the action. It's a collaboration. And that's why the two books are also a collaboration together. Because one shows you how I did it. Because sometimes we need to see someone else's journey in order to activate it in ourselves. This shows you how I lived it, what I learned, and how I found my way back to myself. And the Archangels book shows you the support network that carried me along that journey. And let me tell you, sometimes they carried me on their back because I wasn't able to do it for myself. And they never leave you. It's like your soul and God and Jesus never leave you. But we shut them out, we block them away, and we even tell them to get lost, because I've done it. The greatest part is they don't give up on us. And they know we're worth it, and our soul is the same. We are never alone. We're always connected to the greater source energy. And this is the greatest message I want to get across. No matter what you've been through, everything that you've done has helped you become who you are today. And who you are today is magnificent. You are the most magical being on this earth. You're a miracle. Even bringing you down to earth is that miracle. Embody it, love it, embrace it, and show up for yourself. This pre-sale that I'm doing for these books, because they launch on the 11th of November 2026, because 1111 feels perfect for these books, right? It's an angel number. But the other thing is that particular day is a 5-day, a universal 5-day. And these books, both of them, are about transformation. Changing the way you see yourself, changing the way you see the world, changing how you show up, changing how you belong, and changing the way you decide what you need. And throughout this launch process and the build up of bringing these books out into the public, I never wanted to be that person that just sort of said, oh, surprise, here, buy my books, and let them float around in the ethers. I like to bring everything together. The same, I've done it before with my oracle cards. I build momentum, I get pre-sales, I get people to support the journey, to bring out the printing, the production, the packaging, the stock of it, the collaboration, the connection, the community, everything needed to bring it all together. But in doing so, I've created a very special package for people to help me bring this about. Because in the book, I talk about crystals that work with the archangels. Well, what's the use of having a book if you don't have the crystals to go with it? So part of the package that I've put together is one, you don't get one book, you get both of them together. You get 15 crystals for the archangels that before you receive them, I will be spending a week with each archangel. Like, I'm going to set them all up in my house because I program them, right? And I'm going to invite the archangels to sit with them for a week for each crystal, because there'll be 2 different sets that will be available. And that's potluck as to how you're going to get it, right? But in it, you're going to get the archangels activating them, working with them, being invited to collaborate with your crystals to empower them. They come in their own little pouch that's safe and secure. I've also created a companion journal because in the book of the archangels, there's shadow journaling questions. What's the use of having the shadow journaling if you have nowhere to write them? So I created another beautiful cover design journal that you're going to get with it. There is also an archangel activation meditation that will come along for the journey, of where I walk you through a beautiful invitation for your archangel to come down to meet you as to who you need right now in this moment. They will be signed with a perfect message for each of you, and blessed, packaged, and a few little hidden surprises that I'm not going to share with everyone. But this is about energy and frequency. It's about the love, the passion, the collaboration, and the invitation that I use with each one to activate each particular package. And these pre-sale packages are only available for the pre-sale, because if you're not supporting the whole process, you will have to go and gather your own crystals. You'll have to go and gather your own journal. You'll just be able to buy the books, because this is how I reward assistance, and this is about the give and take of I'm sharing with you so that you can share with me. And this is why it matters, because not only do you help me support my life and journey to bring this into reality, but I want you to have something that's unique and special just for you, for those ones that get on board early, that truly support the outcome and really give back, because that's important to me. So when we're looking at the 3 different packages, you may just want my Soul Activated, which is the memoir book. That one is $44, and that's just about the book. You're going to get a bookmark and a couple of little hidden extras in there. Or you may just want the Journey with the Archangels by itself, which is the practical guide, and you get the crystals with that one too. But if you go for the whole kit and caboodle, the double book bundle, which is $111 for the duo package, you're getting both books, the companion journal, the crystal pack, the added extras, the meditation, and you also get a 15-minute mini reading with me, where I can come and share with you what Archangel wants to work with you right now and why. And this is a premium experience, because that particular reading alone is worth $60. And for everyone that supports it, I'm willing to lock you in and book you in to receive that too. Because trust me, each of the archangels will have a special message just unique to you, and you deserve to receive that. So if you're willing to support this journey and have the premium archangel experience, everyone gets a chance to support this in the way that benefits them. And I know not everyone will want to buy the book, so supporting can mean having conversations with me, sharing it on your socials, getting it out there, or sharing it with friends or families who may need it, who may be available for this type of experience. And I am rewarding those people as well. So if you do have an offer to help and you want to help me get this kick-started and really get me going, I'm also creating a Kickstarter campaign, which is a bit different and has some unique differences between what's going on for my personal community on my website and my fans. There are some greater options for the founding guardians for this, but they also have greater investment availability for it. But this is all about helping me just raise the funds in order to bring this in the world. My greatest wish and desire for it all is that the Archangel book is on every spiritual person's bedside table as a reference book that they look at every day, of they use as a guide, of them connecting and working with the Archangels to truly find themselves, to realize that they're so worthy. They have these beautiful beings available to them, willing and able to support them along the way. That is why I'm raising the finances and funds to do this. With the Kickstarter and the Guardian levels, there are 5 different options, from $22 for just the ebook to $77, $111, $222 or $555. And the $555 are the most personalized editions. They get a hardcover book for that version, specially signed, uniquely numbered, and with a certificate of support, personalized, and a full reading with me. So many people are going to ask, why would you want to support a Kickstarter or support an author as they bring their journey out into the world, as they show up and become what they need to become? The reason behind this is you also get the value, the knowledge, and the acceptance of, I help this book being brought into existence. You become part of the story, part of the beginning. And especially on the Kickstarter campaign for the upper levels of support, the 222 and the 555 levels, 555, you're going to get special mention, and your name is going to be listed on my website as contributing founders to this project, because recognition deserves recognition, and support is invaluable to me. And this is the process that I've used for many, many years, and many authors and creators and other people do it. It's just crowdfunding. It is an aspect that the Archangels actually themselves told me about the first time when I did it with my cards. And I didn't understand as much about marketing back then as I do now, and the Kickstarter campaign itself didn't take off. But my pre-sales from my personal marketing and from my tribe and the people that have followed me for many years covered that connection. And I'm so grateful that they're out in the world. And the good part is that in 2 of the packages for the Kickstarter in itself, these cards are going to be reintroduced and shared out to those people. And the same with the ones on my website. You're going to get a deck of either affirmation or oracle cards of your choice, because everything links back to everything. It all comes together. And I want to share with you as much as I can to give back in the way that you're giving back to me, because supporting me shows me exactly that I'm on the right pathway, that this is exactly what is needed in the world, that this is where it's going to take. And that is the most important factor for me, because I don't do this for self. It's not about recognition. It's about service to the world and offering help and assistance where it's needed. I have been pushed, guided, and kicked up the arse in order to bring these 2 books into fruition. And trust me, I was going to do them separately. But when you have guides that tell you, or your soul is telling you, this is the way it has to be, because I wrote the Archangels book first, right? It was all there ready. And then I was a multi-author collaborator in a book, and I wrote my chapter Despair. And they told me to turn that into my full life story, because it wasn't enough. And that's how they really come about, because people need to understand that this isn't a figment of my imagination. It's not just pulling things out of thin air. This is not about copying other people's versions of it, even though I did learn from some powerful people of how to interact with them. These are personal connections of working with them over many, many years in different ways, through different aspects, and of how I share it with other people, because that's what it's about. It's not about convincing people that this is what's going on. It's giving you a tool that's going to make your life better. Well, that's my intent behind it, to share what I've learned to make your life easier, because that's my biggest goal, is not having to go through the same struggle that I did. I want to make things easy. I want you to do what you need to do to show up in this world exactly as you are and become the powerful, beautiful, magnificent being that you are. And when you look at this, I don't really want you looking at my soul activated and going, wow, Shaz has been through some shit, because it's a pretty fair call. My beta readers that have read it have gone, I knew some of that, but oh my God, what is really going on with you? Okay? Because what I've survived is not defining who I am. It's who I've become through it. It was the only way here. The only way I could become who I am today And I love this version of self. Yes, I'm still making changes. Yes, I'm upgrading. Yes, I'm growing every single day, but I love everything about my life because I no longer ask permission to change. I show up who I am. I have a divine quorum of angels, a beautiful factor of 15 and beyond that support me every single day. And life is magical because I ask. I manifest, I create, I do. I allow everything that I want to show up in the way it does because it's so important to me, and I want it to be so important to you because you deserve it too. So this is where I want to ask for support. If one or both of these books speak to you, please pre-order it now. Otherwise, if you only want the books, on the 11th of the 11th, I'll be doing a launch party. I'm going to set up a Facebook Live and do a full-on launch where we launch it on Amazon, and you can just buy it on that day for delivery that week, because that is going to help me enormously. But also, please share the posts. Become a founding guardian if you choose to. But I'll ultimately, underneath it all, ask the Archangels for help. They're begging you. They want to walk this journey with you. They want to be in your life, but they can't unless you ask permission. That is why this is all coming about, because it is a true full circle moment for me. I learned to grow up hiding what I knew, and now through writing these books and trusting this guidance, I can share exactly who I am. I know who I am. I know how I show up, and I know the love in my heart and the healing that I want to offer this world, because I was that little girl who had no idea who she was all alone. But my friends and my angels kept me safe, and the fairies and all the elemental beings saved me. They kept me out of harm's way. They hid me, they shielded me, and they protected me so that I could grow and become who I am today. And that's what these two books represent to me. They're not just two simple products that I'm launching. They're a piece of the life that I've been willing to put into words. So on the 11th of November, when you pre-sale these orders and support this journey, they will not be delivered until the 11th of November, the week of. I am praying and hoping that they actually get delivered to you on or around that date, God willing. But it will all depend on all the pieces coming together. They'll definitely be there within that week. So if you have supported, encouraged me, and especially to my beta readers and my dearest friends who've supported me, I have already sold over half a dozen of the pre-sale packages, and I'm so grateful. I'm beyond grateful for each and every aspect of it. And I know there are going to be so many more. I have a target and a goal that I won't share, but I trust Spirit, and I know that they're guiding the way. So thank you to everyone who's helped me, who is willing to help me, and I can't wait to put these books into your hands. Until next time.